In the heart of the ancient savannah, where the sun kissed the red earth and the trees danced to the rhythm of the wind, there lay a village called Ngolo, surrounded by rivers that whisper secrets and mountains that stood like silent elders. Ngolo was more than a village, it was a heartbeat in the body of the land. At its center stood the drum of Ngolo, carved from the sacred Iroko tree and blessed by the spirits of the ancestors. It was no ordinary drum, it echoed with prophecy, roared with war, wept during mourning and sang during peace. For generations, it had guided the people, its rhythm aligned with the soul of the land. But one night, under a sky blood-red and thick with silence, the drum fell mute. No boom, no beat, no whisper, just silence, heavy and strange. The elders gathered, the warriors trembled, the women wailed, and the children clung to their mothers. Something sacred had been broken. The gods were silent, and Ngolo stood still. But in the shadow of that silence lived a boy, Sefu, orphaned as a child, raised by the blind storyteller Mama Jali. Sefu had always felt different. Where others saw silence as an end, Sefu felt it as a beginning. Deep within him the silence spoke. It hummed, it called. One evening as fireflies danced like stars around their hut, Mama Jali turned to him with sightless eyes full of knowing. "They are calling you, child," she whispered. "The ancestors, the drum speaks no more because it waits for you." And so without farewell, Sefu took a leather satchel, a slingshot and a faded necklace left by his mother, and stepped beyond the village's edge into the forest of bones, a forbidden place where even warriors dared not tread. The trees, they were twisted and old, the wind spoke in riddles. Sefu walked with steady breath until a figure emerged from the mist, a chained spirit known as the Nkondi, a guardian of forgotten truths, who walks with no name. The spirit growled. "I am Sefu," the boy replied, born of silence, walking in echoes. And Nkondi tested him with fear, with illusions, with loneliness. But Sefu stood in truth, no lies, no pride, only purpose. Moved, the spirit shattered its own chains and gave him the seed of echo, a glowing pulse of ancestral energy. This, it said, is not power, it is memory, and only memory can awaken the drum. Sefu returned to Ngolo to find chaos, crops failed, waters dried, and Chief Obadel, the man who ruled in the drum's silence, had grown cruel, unbeknownst to the village. It was he who had sealed the drum, afraid of prophecy, afraid of truth, afraid of losing his power. When the boy returned bearing the seed of echo, battle mocked him. "You are nothing but a child with dreams." But the people had begun to listen, not to the chief, but to the quiet courage of the boy who had entered death's forest and returned whole. At dawn in the center of the village, Sefu stood before the sacred drum. It was cracked, dusty, hollow. He kneeled, pressed the seed into its base, and laid both hands on the skin of the drum. Then he whispered, not a chant, not a command, but a memory. "I am Sefu, son of silence. I have walked with the forgotten. I bring not power, but truth. Let the drum speak again." And the heavens answered. Thunder roared, lightning kissed the earth. The trees swayed and the ground trembled, and then boom, the drum sounded. First a low rumble, then a rising rhythm. The people wept, the spirits danced, the land itself breathed again. Chief Obadelu fled, his power broken, and the villagers turned to Sefu not as a ruler, but as a guide. But he did not stay. The next morning, with the rising sun behind him, Sefu walked away into legend. They say he became one with the echoes, that his spirit walks with every drumbeat, that when the wind is just right and the moon sits heavy, you can hear his voice between the rhythms. The boy who listened now leads the echoes.